So, okay. Looks like our guest is here. Hello, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you made it. So
Yeah,
did you get pulled over? What happened there?
Bro, it's the story of my life. I've been pulled over maybe 150 times. So they seem
but you're still here.
I'm still here. Yeah,
it's that white male privilege.
I think it's more of the having a foreign car and foreign license and they don't know what to do with me privilege. That's what I think it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always seem to escape. They seem to think I'm speeding. I don't know why they think these things. They must have faulty car equipment.
They didn't give you a ticket?
Well, they try and give me a ticket, but the way it works in Romania, the system is quite unorthodox. So, are we live now? Are we live?
Yeah, we are live.
Yeah, we're live.
Oh, hello, everyone. So, yeah, the way it works in Romania is that the ticket is put against your name, and they can't enforce it unless it comes to time of you selling your car or selling your house or something that's like governmentally involved. But all of my Romanian property is owned by a limited company, so that never happens. Yeah. So I just get a bunch of tickets and ignore them all. So
nice.
Trust. Can they sue the trust?
I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, because I'm driving English plated cars with an English license, the Romanian police are a bit like, what do I do with this guy? You know, and I can always play well, if you give me too much hassle, I'll just leave. I just drive out of the country in 3 hours. So they're very much like, stop being a dickhead, off you go. And it's like, okay, bye. You know?
Yeah. I have to not get another speeding ticket until June. I have to avoid it or they're going to take my license away.
Where are you based?
I'm in Canada, in British Columbia.
This is what I mean, man. Let me tell you something. All the West and America and all these countries preach about is freedom. And they're the biggest police states in the world. Go to Eastern Europe and you will see what genuine freedom is. And even if worst case, I could buy my way out of any problem. I give them $50 and say sorry. Worst case. Worst case. Yeah. Like the laws here there's laws, but they're me, you know. But in the West, we enforce our laws so rigorously, but the countries are still far more dangerous than Eastern Europe. It's quite strange to understand that the laws here are so fluid, but violent crime is so low. Whereas in the West, our laws are so stringent, and we have all the crazy crap we have over there. So it's weird, but it's just how it works. It's just how it works over here.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe we should introduce our guest. We got Andrew Tate in the house. Very excited to have him here. It's late in the evening where you are, so I wanted to say thanks for Sunday night. You probably just want to kick back and watch some HBO or whatever, but you agreed to join us here today. As you can see he's got his website cobratate.com there on the name where you can find out more. And I put links to his Twitter and YouTube channels in the description.
Do you want to learn to be an alpha male?
Yeah, well, everyone had a teacher at some point.
I've been following you since back when you were transgender. That's no, really. Oh, that's actually what made me follow you. I was transgender in the same way that you were transgender. It helped me win arguments on Twitter.
Yeah.
LP mentioned your name and I got really excited and I thought that's what we were here to discuss today. There was one thing that you've mentioned, which is that you shouldn't be with women who have a celebrity crush.
Here we go. We're getting right into it.
It's going to be a long list of all the shit I've said and me trying to justify. Okay. Go on.
Okay. What if her celebrity crush is Andrew Tate?
Well, that's natural. I mean, some things cannot be, combated. But my point was quite simple. My point was, in my experience, my humble experience, I'm going to be humble now. I'm not going to be arrogant and brash. In my humble experience, when a woman's truly in love with a man, she has zero interest in the pure physicality of other men. When she's completely in love with a man, and I love this man, there's no such thing as another man who's handsome to a girl when she's completely besotted. As a man, if I'm completely in love with a girl, I can still see another woman and go, yeah, that's beautiful. She's hot. Because women are objectively beautiful. I don't believe men really are. And in my experience, when a woman's truly in love with a man, there's no man on earth she finds attractive, including a celebrity crush. If you're sitting there and your girl's going, oh, this guy is so hot, The Rock or Idris Elba, whoever, then she doesn't love you like she should. That's my experience. That's my experience, and my experience is very vast. So,
yeah, I've lived in Los Angeles. I don't now. I live in Texas. But back in the day, I remember it was very popular for people to say, if you got your one celebrity to cheat with, who would it be? And I always thought that was such a
Pass.
messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought that was such a messed up, even as a joke.
Yeah.
Especially when you live and work in a place like Hollywood and you actually have access to celebrities.
Go on.
My joke was always that I would, if a guy were to ever say that and say someone like Jessica Alba, I would maybe mention his brother's name or something. You know, like if I ever got my one pass, make it somebody who's actually realistic, like the name.
Oh yeah, make it somebody you run into every day. Yes,
exactly.
That's how you win.
That would freak him out.
Yeah, but the thing is this: I don't see why a woman, and I'm going to go even further. Well, you know what? We're live. Let's piss everyone off. You know, this is what I do. So you're starting me now. But my point is this: I don't think quality women really find men objectively beautiful. I don't think a quality woman would say about, you know, that man is hot, so I don't care about his personality or his income or his values. I want to fuck him purely because of how he looks. I don't think quality women think that way about men.
Yeah, exactly. That caveat. Quality women don't.
Quality women, yeah. And that's my point. So a man is the opposite. I can say I disagree with her on every single political opinion, and I think she's a dickhead. But she's hot, so I'm gonna bang her. Like a man can be that way, but I don't think quality women are that way naturally, and I think only trash women are. So when women are objectifying men, like I don't care if he's married, he's so hot. I'm just like, you just make yourself sound like a dickhead. That's my view anyway. That's because I don't think women should be that way.
Well, there's also the sex toy industry. That's I get to say. They like to harass me about this.
I had to highlight this because for people who don't know, Annika banged Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Oh no!
So
oh my God!
Put
Wow!
that in your pipe and
You did quite a bit of research on me before bringing me onto as your partner. No, so real quick, some years ago, I was Bill Nye's +1 to Yuri's night.
Okay.
Because I was doing some work for a project that never actually got launched. So I was his +1. And when there were photos at the event where I was next to him, a lot of people didn't know it was Bill Nye. They thought that it was me with an old guy.
Yeah.
So it started with Annika's dating this old guy. And then that went from, wait a minute, that's Bill Nye. Annika's dating Bill Nye. So it's been a rumor for quite some time now.
Well,
and now I just go out and say you two banged.
Yeah.
Pass it on.
We were married. Yeah,
I love Bill Nye.
I took his flip phone when I left.
I love Bill Nye till he sold out and cut that gender part out of his old show. Remember that?
Yeah.
He fucking sold out, man. Like, you're supposed to be Bill Nye. You educated the nation when I was a child. Now you got to come along and sell out like a little pussy. Like, what's happened to the values of people? Why can't you be famous and just say, you know what? I refuse to bend and drink the Kool-Aid. Fuck you. What's wrong with everybody? The money. It's the money, and they're afraid of being instantly canceled by Hollywood elites and just disappearing into nothing. That's what it is. But it's insanity, you know, and they're pushing these agendas. And this is one of the reasons I live where I live. People keep saying to me, why do you live in Romania? And I'm like, you don't understand how nice it is to live in a country where none of this crap, 0% of this crap is real. Like zero. When I sit and explain to Romanians the liberal Americans' mindset, they think I'm making it up. They're laughing their ass off. Like, what is this, a TV show? I'm like, no, this is what they think, and this is what they sit there, and I have to get Google out and all sorts. They don't believe a word I'm saying. They're like, there are no people alive who believe this crap. I'm like, yeah, there are in California. It's crazy. So it's good to live away from it all, you know.
Do you think that there's sort of an inevitable seep, though? Like American culture kind of seeps out into the rest of the world everywhere, and sort of like where America is where other places are headed. Like obviously there's differences from place to place, but you must have like some kind of third wave feminism happening in Romania, right? You must have those movements there to some degree. People saying we need more women in the parliament or whatever it is.
It's weird. So what's happening in countries like Romania and all of Eastern Europe is it's the money. So the European Union's come along. The European Union has a bunch of money. So it's a really interesting dynamic, the way the European Union's working. So the European Union is bullshit, but the very basic the way this club works is we want to exert control over everybody. We are, not many people know this, but the people who are in charge of the European Union are an unelected cabal, and nobody knows who they are. The European Parliament can't vote in law or repeal law. All they can do is talk about law. So you have a whole parliament to pretend there's some democracy, but really it's an absolute dictatorship with these like 10 people at the top and no one knows their name and they do whatever the fuck they want. So their genius plan is, well, how do we have more control over more countries? I know, we'll start a club, we'll take the money from the rich countries and give it to the poor countries. And that makes the poor countries want to join, so we get more control over it, more people. And the rich countries, well, everyone's so brainwashed, liberalism, that they're going to join anyway. And it's impossible to leave. Even if you vote Brexit, we're not going to let you out for years. Welcome to our fancy club. So all of Eastern Europe has said, okay, we'll join, because Eastern Europe, they're scammers, aren't they? They're like, yeah, okay, we'll take your money. Yeah, sure. But when the European Union actually tries to enforce something like immigration, then they turn around and say no. So then you have these lawsuits inside. So this is what's happening. So like for the first time ever, this year, and I'm not anti-gay, I'm not getting gay, I'm just trying to explain the Western ideals against Eastern ideals. Romania is officially the most Christian country in the world. 99% of people are recognized as Orthodox Christian. There's monasteries and churches everywhere, pictures of Jesus everywhere. It's the most Christian place. For the first time ever, last year, there was a gay pride parade. And there was these big banners, and it literally said, sponsored by the European Union. Literally, the European Union's come along and said, let's shovel money. We need to promote homosexuality where it's not allowed. And this is where the tax-paying money's gone. And then what you have at these marches are the young people who don't know any better. You got the 17-year-old girls who are like having fun and drinking. It's all a big party. They don't know how it degrades. They don't know anything about society or the bigger picture because they're young. So you have this a bit. It is seeping in a bit with this kind of things because of the cash. But in general, gender roles are still very strong here. And the reason for this is as follows. Gender roles are the optimum way to survive in difficult conditions. A man being a man, a woman being a woman, is what everyone would revert to on a desert island. There'd be no fucking feminist on a desert island. So when you live in a country where it's hard to survive and wages are low and it's very difficult to get by and there's no social welfare system, and if you haven't got healthcare, you can't go private, you're going to die on an operating table because the doctors are crap. And when you're living in a harsh environment, people stay within their gender roles naturally. All this gender role mess up happens when people have an easy ass life and nothing else to complain about. That's what happens. So life in Romania is tough, man. You're earning $300 a month. You ain't got time to be a feminist. You're broke. Man's broke. You're just trying to raise the kid. Like he's working his ass off all day, all night. Like these gender roles are retained by how difficult life is. And I think that's what keeps it all together. And as money comes in, as the economy grows, it'll change like every other nation. As it gets soft, as it gets easy, all this crap will start to pop up. But for now, you don't hear any of this. We need women in the workplace crap. You hear, look, if I've got a company and men are working for me and I'm managing to pay the bills, then men are going to work for me and women can just piss off and wait because this is how I'm doing it. They're far more realistic on the harsh realities of the world. So.
Well, I presume that the women are pretty happy with the way it is as well, right? I mean, as long as they are getting married and having families, or as long as they feel like their needs are being met.
That's all they want. All they want is a man who can pay the bills and for them to have kids because they realize it's the easiest path to a happy life. It's far more satisfying than the career is going to pay them $300 a month.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that's unusual. This is what's unusual because when you have that mindset as a woman, one of two things happens. Either you become marriage material or you become a total hoe. If you want to be provided for by a man financially, you're either going to become marriage material or you're going to say, you know what, fuck it, going to Dubai, taking the cash per night. It's one of the two. So the ones that are left here are quite good, but like if you go to Dubai or you go to these places, you see loads of Romanian girls working, heartless. It's $5,000 a night, pay me, just heartless. So it's just like the way the mentality is. But they're never going to be, but in a way I respect this more than being the kind of girl who goes, I really like him. He's really funny. We smoke weed together. He's funny, and just banging some nobody for what, So I understand why they'd never do that. That's a Western woman thing. So I kind of get it. Like they're like, I don't care if I like him. How much does he earn? Like I don't get, like that's how their mind works. Yeah. So it is what it is.
LP, do you have any questions? He's just taking it all in. I think you have a new disciple.
I kind of have a self-deprecating joke about how the girls who banged the stoners got me laid a lot through college.
They got us all laid. I never said they didn't get us laid, friend. They got us all laid. I'm just saying the mentality of he's funny and like that. They don't care about that. They care more about what can he do for me. He gets me, I'll be good. But what do I get? And what's something tangible I get in return?
Yeah,
and that usually involves cash one way or another. That's how they think.
let's pivot back to this incel thing. I think I want to hear.
I'd love to hear
let me
his
get
views.
this. Yeah, so we were looking at this story here. This is from I think in Canada. Some guy, he stabbed a woman and her baby, and then he said to the police, "I couldn't get laid, so I just wanted to kill for some reason." And he specifically said he was inspired by the incel movement, and he referenced Alec Manassian, who is a guy who drove a van in Toronto into a crowd of people. And we've been kind of arguing about whether or not the incel is like a political ideology, or if these are just a bunch of mentally ill people who should be institutionalized or something like that. I'm more of the opinion that this is like a kind of a real movement, and that there's, just like any sort of political movement, there's going to be a small number of extremists who just think that violence is the way to get what they want. And so it's dangerous and troubling.
Oh, it's super dangerous. And there's two things to discuss here. Firstly, why incels are becoming more common, and secondly, why incels kill. So the first thing I'll discuss why I believe incels kill, and I believe it's very, very simple. I believe that men are biologically programmed to be violent. I believe that men have an evolutionary need to be violent up until very modern society. In fact, even in modern society, a man who does not have the capacity to be violent when needed isn't a man. Like every woman likes the idea of someone broke into my house, so my husband fucked them up. You can lie as much as you want, but that's what you want. So you can lie as much as you want. So men have an evolutionary need to be violent. We have that. We've grown up with it. The most violent people survive. So it's natural selection, isn't it? So men have this inside of them, and I think women they dull a man's sharpest edge. And when you have a loving family and you have a loving woman around you, it kills a lot of your angry feelings. But when women reject you constantly, and you're already a man, and men have naturally violent tendencies, that's not called toxic masculinity. It's called fucking human nature. Then you're going to end up lashing out at somebody or something. I say this all the time. I say this. Yeah. This is what I say about the whole immigration thing into Western Europe, and all these immigrants turn up and they start doing violent things and attacking girls and raping girls. I say, look, they're turning up broke with they don't speak English. What girlfriend are they getting? Zero. How long are they going to sit around without getting laid, looking at all these pretty white women walk around in high heels until they think, fuck this? That's men. That's male instinct. Yeah. So that's why the incels are killing. The second question is, why are incels growing as a number? And the reason for that is because I believe the game for a man is becoming harder by the day. The whole offering that used to get you a loving, stable wife only 40 or 50 years ago is gone. You can't go up to a girl and go, I'll be your man, I'll work in the factory, you stay at home, I'll work all the time, you cook, and you give me 3 kids, and we're gonna be together. Everyone's like, what, you work in a factory? Fuck you, loser. No, I'm on Instagram, I'm talking to this guy, he's an athlete. It's the game's changed, and the game's changed because the basic dynamic of the sexual marketplace is broken. And the basic dynamic is men give attention to get sex, and women give sex to get attention. This is how it used to work. But now women get attention from nothing. They start an Instagram account. Boom.
This is absolutely.
They got their attention. So why do I work your dick?
That's exactly what I've been saying. That's exactly what I've been saying, man. Men want sex and women want attention, but now Instagram, women get all the attention they want. Yeah. To like 1,000-fold what they can get from any single man. Exactly. And they're all using Photoshop and Facetune and all this shit.
Yep. You can be a 6 in Montana, and you can still be getting hit up by verified dudes. Yeah. Like, so what chance does the guy who works in Target in Montana have? I mean, maybe as a bit of game, whatever. But the point is, it's getting harder and harder for men because also the sexual marketplace has been completely globalized. So a lot of people say to me, oh, you're in Romania, you must meet these really beautiful, simple girls from a small village. I'm like, bro, I drive through a village where they barely have electricity, and if I see a girl, she has 100,000 Instagram followers. These girls know what they're worth. Like the whole idea of this simple redneck hot girl, all that's gone. It's gone.
If you go through the top-rated women on Instagram, quite often they have Cyrillic names, and everything's written in Cyrillic. Yeah, the Russian girls that used to have jacked up. Yeah, the girls with jacked up teeth. and stuff, they all get their shit fixed and they're making 6 figures.
Yep.
So
I mean, so the whole marketplace is globalized. So the whole idea you're going to meet this simple, poor, hot girl and she's going to be humble, that all bullshit. If you're 16 and you're living in Transnistria, which is a breakaway micronation on the border of Moldova, which I got arrested in, that's a different story, you will still have 100,000 Instagram followers. And you will still be getting offered trips to Dubai and trips to Singapore and Tokyo and LA. And Dan Bilzerian's team will be hitting you up. And then how are you going to come along as Joe Schmo and say, yo, I got you some flowers? Like, come on, man. The game's getting harder for dudes. It's getting harder and harder and harder.
So real quick, this internet globalization of the sexual market value, do you think this is also has a little to do with why the migrants want to leave their shitty little villages and move to countries where they perceive the women to be the way that they are on Instagram? Like in real life, they think that they're just going to walk up to a hot chick and she's going to give them the time of day.
Well, yeah, and that's cultural, and that's also down to religion. So this is another thing. I have a lot of very good Muslim friends, and all my Muslim friends, especially from Muslim countries, from what they see of the West, they believe that Western women are easy. They're like, I could just walk up there and just bang them all. They're running around half naked. They're drunk. They're on the floor asleep, doing cocaine. They want to do porn. Look, all these girls wanting to do porn. Like they believe. So when they get here, there's a level of frustration when they realize, oh no, well, she wants to bang everyone but me.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of frustration comes in. That's where all the rape and stuff comes in Germany and Sweden. That's where all the rape comes in. So like, oh, well, she's a hoe anyway. She ain't got burn on.
And they live in like that repressive culture where they've been taught if a woman shows herself, that means she wants to have sex, right? So they think all these women are super easy because they're going around in their bikinis and shit like that. Yeah. They show up here and they realize they won't give them the time of day. Yeah, it makes sense. Hey, Andrew, real quick, do you have headphones by any chance? We are getting a bit of an echo. If you could check that, it would probably help. And so the talking about the Instagram did tie into another story I wanted to take a look at today. This was posted on January 12th, and this is a British girl in the UK committed suicide because she didn't get enough likes on her social media post. And the article talks about how she was obsessed with getting likes. She would always tell her family to press like on her Facebook photos when she uploaded them and stuff like that. And then she killed herself because I guess she wasn't happy with how fast her follower count was growing.
She should have hooked up with that incel that stabbed that lady in the parking lot.
It would have fixed 2 birds, 1 stone.
Yeah.
Is it better? Is it less echoey now?
It's actually about the same. So I don't know if it's maybe just.
It's probably just that he's in a big.
Yeah, I think it might just be the room you're in, and so what it's it's maybe somebody says it's better, so I don't know. Yeah, we'll roll with that.
How is this? I've changed my microphone. Is that any better?
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah,
I think you're fine. If you can turn down the gain, you could do that, but I don't know. I don't know.
I'm trying my best.
Better.
No,
you're fine.
So
you were saying the Instagram.
So the social media thing. I just saw before you came, I saw this video from a YouTube channel called Nerd City, and it was about this girl named Layla Pons or something. She's a big YouTuber with millions of subs. She used to be a Vine star. And they were showing how YouTube promotes this girl all the time, puts her on trending, how they kind of choose to promote certain people like the Jake Pauls of the world. And they were showing how this girl on her Instagram, it's all photoshopped, it's all fake. And her videos, a lot of times she'll sell makeup, sponsored ads where it's the story of the ad is in order to get a guy to like you, you have to buy this CoverGirl makeup and shit like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of sick. YouTube is pushing this sort of, everything that the feminists used to say was wrong, that, this fake CoverGirl mentality, the Photoshop, the airbrushing, and it's being pushed. They show how her audience is these 9-year-old kids. And YouTube has these new COPA rules, which ties into it, which is you have to say if your YouTube channel makes videos for kids or not. I know you guys must have seen this. Every YouTube creator knows about it. And if you make content for kids, you're not allowed to have a comment section, and there's a bunch of other stuff, but YouTube seems to just kind of look the other way for somebody like that who's got obviously targeted towards kids, but lots of swearing in her videos, lots of like sexuality and all that kind of stuff. It's infuriating. But for people who want to just check out that video, this last thing I'll say, check out the video by Nerd City. It's really good. Yeah.
One other thing I wanted to note is that she used to be listed as comedy, and there's absolutely no humor in her videos. They're high budget, but they're really low trash. Like, and I'm not just saying that. I'm glad that other people are jumping on this now, because back in the day, if a girl criticized and said this is garbage, everyone assumes that you're jealous because she's a blonde. So of course you don't like her because she's hotter than you. That's always But
this is the other thing that I forgot about. So one of her friends, they were doing videos together, and her friends started getting popular. I guess this Amanda girl, and Layla or whatever, Lele, she had access to like her phone. She like figured out the other girl's password and went in and like deleted her Instagram and deleted her videos, and then lied about it when got called out. And then when the girl Amanda finally realized it was Lele who was deleting her shit, she made a video exposing it all, like talking about it. And then Lele like called the cops and sent the cops to her house to be like, you have to take down that video.
These are mentally damaged people. These are people who are, there was something recently in England about 2 people who were on reality TV killed themselves after they got off the show, and they killed themselves. I don't know.
That's happening all the time. Yeah. There was that what's it called? The Island, Love Island or whatever.
Yeah. Love Island. Yeah. That's exactly it. Yeah.
There's another guy who killed himself off that.
There's another one who killed themselves. And I was on a reality TV show like 4 or 5 years ago. So they started getting all these reality TV show stars or ex-stars or nobodies basically to come forward and say, yeah, they don't support us after the show. Poor us. We need more help and all this garbage. And then they called me, and they never published what I said, which is a shame. But I made a point very clear. 99% of the people who are on reality TV shows are people who would struggle with normal life anyway. These are people who are, look at them. They're neurotic people. They have no emotional control because they make good TV. So the TV stations are picking damaged individuals and then pushing them over the edge. But these are people who would probably find a reason to jump over the edge sooner or later anyway. You know, like I hate to be heartless, and I don't want to get us banned or in any trouble. But I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But if you're going to kill yourself over Instagram likes, you're susceptible to killing yourself over something. I'm sorry. That's the truth. Maybe no one wants to hear it. Maybe one day you should crack an egg wrong, and I mixed up the yolk with the egg white. I can't take this anymore. I'm jumping it. Like, these are people who are on the edge anyway. Because if you're a mentally strong individual, I'm kind of like Darwinism. Yeah. Darwinism. Like,
I get what you're saying, but I don't think you can compare it to cracking an egg, because it's like a drug, right? That you get the dopamine hit when you get the likes, you get addicted to that. It's like being hooked to crack or whatever. If you're not getting it coming in after you've had it, there's going to be a feeling of like, I've lost what makes me happy.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely true, and I completely agree with you. But then my experience of life is that's all life is, friend. Losing what makes you happy, being miserable. That's what life is. We're all miserable. You just have to get on with it. I have a theory. My theory is that everyone is equally depressed, and some people just don't complain about it, and others do. Oh, my life's so hard. Your life's no harder than anyone else's. You have no bigger problems than anyone else. Your anxiety is no worse than anyone else's. You're just a pussy. Other people have the same stuff, and they go and fucking pay the bills. I don't buy into this. It's individualism. What it is the Western world has promoted individualism to the point where people are so desperate to be individual that they're going to pretend they have condition. Oh, you don't understand what it's like to be me because I have anxiety every time I take a piss. Shut up. You're a worm. In World War II, no one was killing themselves. We were too busy doing shit, rebuilding countries. You're just a pussy. And everyone around you's allowed you to be a pussy because no one's called you a pussy. I should be a therapist. Come see me with your problems. And I'm going to make you sit in front of a cancer patient and explain to them everything that's wrong with your life to a terminal cancer patient. And if you can manage to make that terminal cancer patient feel sorry for you, then you're allowed to be depressed. Otherwise, you have to shut the fuck up and get on with it. We live in a world of cowards. Everyone's a fucking coward. It's just garbage. Oh, you feel sad. Boo-hoo. Who said you were supposed to be happy? Nobody. Maybe we're all sad. Every day you get older. Every day you're going to get closer to death. You ran out of milk in the fridge. Your girlfriend doesn't love you. Who gives a shit? We're all sad. And fucking smile anyway. Like, it's crazy. I really have this theory that people are so, I say this now, man. This is my answer when people say I'm not happy. I say, who told you? Where did you sign where it said you were supposed to be happy in life? Who told you that was the point of any of this? Maybe we're all supposed to be miserable the whole way through. Maybe you're supposed to endure. Maybe it's a test. Maybe you're supposed to smile regardless. Like, who the fuck said you should be happy? And if you want to be happy, what have you done to earn it? I get to be happy because I earned millions of dollars in kickboxing world titles. I get to brag all day. That makes me happy. What have you done? Nothing.
And you have women who tattoo your name on their chests and their sides, and yeah, I follow you. Yeah, I mean, like what you're saying. Are you familiar with the term black pill? It's kind of
the term, yeah.
Okay. You can see it as a positive thing or a negative. It seems like you're taking all this very similar to how I do, which is that everything sucks, get through it, which seems to be kind of your attitude. You see this among people who struggled a lot and then made a lot of money or became very successful. They still have problems. It never goes away. It gets a little better when you know your rent's going to be paid. Yeah. When you have a nice car and you're in a nice house. But yeah, you're always going to have problems. And I think that's something that a lot of people at the bottom don't realize.
Well, my attitude is very, very simple. I cannot remember the last time anything good in my life ever came without me working my ass off, ever. If you want to be happy, go earn it. Go tell me what. I'm unhappy. Okay, what would make you happy? This. Go get it then. Oh, I don't know how. So you're not unhappy. What you are is lazy. So you've confused the two. Because I knew I needed to be a millionaire and a kickboxing world champion, and I knew I needed a drop-top Lambo and 10 million in the back to be happy. I knew what I needed, and I got it. So it's down to what if you really want to get it or not. This is the point. Happiness is on the top of the mountain. You're either going to climb the mountain or you're going to sit at the bottom like a bitch. You have to make a choice. So when people come at me and go, I'm unhappy, I say, good. You deserve to be unhappy because you're a loser. Stay unhappy or get in the gym. Which one is it? I'm unhappy because I'm fat. Well, duh, calorie deficit. The fuck? If you're really that unhappy, put the Mars bar down. You're happy enough to pick the Mars bar up. You're happy enough to get up, walk to the store, buy the chocolate, and keep putting it in your fat face. You're happy enough to do that. Bullshit, man. We live in a world where no one tells anyone the truth. And the truth is 99% of people are cowards, lazy cowards with no mental fragility. Everyone's just so mentally fragile. And it's completely and utterly propagated. This is what annoys me the most. We need to talk more about mental illness. We need to talk more about depression. If your friend comes and says he's sad for no reason, tell him it's okay. No, it's not okay. What do you mean you're sad? You have a family to provide for. You have children to raise. You're sad about what? You're going to kill yourself and leave your wife and kids, you fucking pussy? You're a pussy. I don't care if you're in Lincoln Park or not. You have a family to raise. You are a pussy. And you're a pussy because everyone around you told you it's okay to be a pussy. I would have told you, I don't care how sad you are. Boo fucking who. Go to work and pay the bills. You're a bitch. And that's the truth. Everyone's they just promote, be a pussy, be a pussy, be a pussy. And then someone listens to them and blows their brains out. That's what happens. I'm such a pussy, I have to kill myself. Oh no, I can't take, oh no, the sunshine. Oh no, I'm in bed and I can't handle my life. Shut up, fucking loser. There are people in the desert. There are people in Yemen whose families have been blown up by fucking predator drones, who ain't got food to eat, and they ain't too depressed to die. So why are you complaining? Why? Because you can't afford your Spotify account? Fucking dork. It's bullshit. Complete bullshit. That's the truth. Depression's bullshit. It's all bullshit. Everyone's just a pussy. If you ever feel depressed, look in the mirror and say, am I a pussy? And if you're still depressed, the answer is yes, you are. Because if you're not depressed, you're going to start doing some fucking push-ups. That's what you're going to do and you're going to feel better. Telling you now. I know.
I completely agree. We were talking about this on the last episode. We're talking about people who get disability they go on disability because they go to the doctor and say they're depressed. Mostly women, my theory. I can't prove it, but mostly women. And they go and they get a check every month. They say, "Oh, I'm too sad to wake up and go to work." On the weekend, they go out to the club or whatever. They go drinking, dancing, and partying. They have energy to do that. I've known these people.
If depression is real, why is it not universal across the human condition? If depression is something you catch from the sky, regardless of how good your life is, why does it only happen in some countries and not others? If it's a condition, if it's a disease, why does it not happen universally? Why is it a modern phenomenon?
It's in the most prosperous.
In the most prosperous, nicest countries where they have a safety net. I watched a documentary about a girl. She was a German girl, and she was on a plane in Chile in the 70s that crashed, and she was the sole survivor in the jungle. She woke up strapped into her chair next to her headless mother. She woke up next to her mother. What's the word? I can't say it. You know the word. Her head's missing. Decapitated. That's right. Decapitated. So
decapitated.
That's right. Decapitate. Okay. So she woke up next to her headless mother. Shouldn't joke, but whatever. She woke up. She walks around the jungle. She has a bad cut. The cut gets infected. She ends up struggling for food. She collapses, gets saved by local people, nearly dies, ends up back in Germany, blah, 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 blah. And they asked her in the interview, so how did you recover from this? You woke up next to your headless mother and you nearly died in the jungle. And now it turns out you're alive again and you're back in Germany. What did you do? And you know what her reply was? Well, I got a job because our family needed money. And they said, well, what about therapy? And then she goes, we didn't do those things back then. There's the proof. It's all bullshit. She's been through more than anyone. But because it wasn't culturally acceptable to be a little fucking pussy, she started working at the supermarket. What else you gonna do? Got to pay the bills. And this is it. We've just promoted mental fragility to the point where people are completely mentally fragile. And here's the thing about it all. This ties in perfectly to that incel thing we were talking about earlier. Because mental fragility is dangerous in men. If you promote mental fragility in females, they might cry a lot. If you promote mental fragility in men, we become violent. You do not make men into the whole idea that men become babies like women is not true. When you take away self-control from a man, do you know what he does? He hurts people. You take away mental control from a man, he's going to hurt someone much quicker than he's going to become a baby. 99% of men are going to pull their Glock and say, you know what? You insult me, or my wife fucked you behind my back. Or they're going to do something. Men need mental control. So you can't be promoting at every single angle. You don't need mental control. If you feel like crying, cry. Because when you say that to a man, you're also saying if you feel like stabbing, stab. And then they do it. This is why the Western world's a mess. That's why it's fucking shit. That's why this incel did what he did. Because no one told him to suck it up and stop being a dickhead. You might get a girlfriend if you weren't a loser. No one said it to him.
Well, and I mean, then the cycle continues because then women aren't attracted to those kinds of men.
Exactly. They're not exactly. So this is
they signal to other we've actually talked about this from a caveman perspective. They signal to other groups that there's weakness in your group and you're more likely to be attacked.
The very baseline of masculinity, if you were to say to me, what is a man? My answer would be emotional control. That is the very bottom baseline important thing to be a man. As a woman, it's something else. But as a man, it's emotional control. If you cannot control your emotions, you will never, ever be shit as a man. Do you think the men on the Titanic weren't controlling their emotions when they waved goodbye to their children and their wife? They were scared. But did they cry like babies? No, they froze to death like men. Emotional control was the bottom line of masculinity for the entirety of human history until the last 30 years where we said to men, if you feel a certain way, you can be that way. Oh, look, incels are stabbing people because girls don't want to talk to them. Oh, look, crime's going through the roof because people can't handle being disrespected, pulling out a Glock and blowing people's brains out. I wonder where this comes from. It comes from telling men to not just fucking have enough mental control to go, you know what, I'm going to get the fuck over it. Or I don't feel like doing X, but I'm going to do X because it's my duty to do X. As a man, you're supposed to be scared and not show you're scared. This is the bottom line of a man. If you don't have emotional control, you're not a man anymore. So this whole promotion of mental fragility is also just completely destruction of manhood. You're not a man if you give into your emotions. I'll tell you something now. I'm the baddest motherfucker on the planet. Someone breaks into my house at night, I'm still scared. You're like, whoa, someone's in my house. But I'm still going to go out there and fuck them up. I'm not going to sit there and go, well, I'm scared, so you go. Try to push my girl out the door. Like, what the fuck? You're a man. It's your job as a man is to be a man. So it's more about duty and honor than how you feel. When you live life as a man, it has very little to do with how you feel. You can live life as a woman and do what you feel. As a man, you don't do as you feel. If I feel happy or I feel sad, I have the exact same productive ass day. That's how I live. No matter how I feel, I get my shit done because that's what you're supposed to do as a man. So this whole mental fragility promotion is just another angle to attack and destroy manhood. And then you're completely right. Women don't find these type of men attractive because women from an evolutionary standpoint still want a man. Yeah. You know, it's crazy, man. I'm so glad I left the fucking West. The West is a failed society. It's failed. It's done. It's over.
What do you think that would have to happen? Do you think if men just rose up and?
You know what the crazy thing about it is? The crazy thing about it is this. Women have all the power. And maybe they don't realize it, and all the feminists will disagree with me, but women really have all the power because women are the gatekeepers to the one thing every man basically wants: sex. This is the bottom line. So if women, I'm telling you now, civilization was built around pussy. The only reason men have ever done any of the stupid shit we've ever done, from building cathedrals to going to war to walking around the planet killing each other to conquering lands to inventing shit, we did it all for pussy. If women were happy to get banged in trees, us men would still be living in trees. Because we were like, okay, got some sex, got an apple, had sex, go to sleep. Like, it's true. I don't give a shit about how big my house is. I don't care about having 8 cars. Why do I do it? So all the hoes know I'm the big G. It's just how it is. So women are really the gatekeepers. If women were to stand up and say, you know what, we're going to stop banging men who ain't worth shit, you'd be surprised how quickly men would start being worth shit. And that's kind of happening. That's kind of happening.
Enter incels. Then how do we explain incels? If women stop having sex with men that are low tier, that are of low quality, then why aren't incels just becoming better?
Okay, so so exactly it. So that's starting to happen to a point, but it's not happening in a productive way. It's not happening in a way that's productive to society. So if women were to say, we like men with degrees in science, for example, or people who work for NASA, then society would be better. What women say is, we like men who sit on a rack track and go back on the street, strap on the seat. You know, garbage. I got followers. It's bullshit. So we live in a bullshit society in terms of status.
Not to defend the incels, but I'm going to defend the incels. In the West, we also have the government oppressing the men. So when the men do decide to speak out, it's not just feminists, it's government is stepping in. And so they're kind of neutering the men. But the government is mostly men. So it's the elite men that are keeping the sorry, not to cut you off, but I'm trying to kind of figure all this out. It's the men at the top that are pressing down on the men at the bottom because they don't care if a third of our men in our society aren't getting women.
The men at the top are pressing down on the men at the bottom because in the animal kingdom, the alpha males always press down the beta males. This is natural human nature. Incels are natural in the animal kingdom. You go look at a pride of lions. One lion has all the lionesses, and all the other male lions sit there with no pussy until they're ready to fight the big G lion. That's how it is.
Genghis Khan.
Yeah, incels are a natural.
Genghis Khan got all the bitches.
Yeah, it's a natural product of biology. You're always going to have incels. So incels are a natural product of biology. Now, in history, we solved it by, we had conservatism, we had more traditional values, lower quality guys could get a girl, like we said, the factory, blah, blah, blah. We had a whole bunch of war, a whole bunch of guys were dying all the time. We had other factors involved. But nowadays, you're always going to have incels. And any man who has access to females, the last thing he gives a shit about is incels. I don't wake up and go, oh, I have 6 girlfriends. I better dump one so an incel has a chance. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. It's not my problem. So I've taken 5 men's wives plus mine. Sorry. So that's how it goes. So the G's are always going to be that way. And it's always going to be hard for the incels. So and an elite man's never going to give a shit. So it's down to the men at the bottom to crawl up the ladder. Now, they were told this, and this was preached to them. Imagine from a young age, you ain't going to get pussy unless you become something. You ain't going to get pussy over and over and over again. Then they might become something. But instead, they're not said that, are they? There's other things are said. Oh, well, it's not your fault. You have a disease. It's not your fault. It's okay. It's society. It's not your fault. Poor you. Blah, 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 blah. And this is why they just get worse and worse in a spiral of fucking bullshit. It's garbage.
Yeah, Bill Barry makes a good point. He says that basically a lot of guys they spend all their time playing video games and jerking off to porn. There's a lot of guys living like that, and you're never going to get anywhere living like that. But really, getting laid is not that hard. If you leave your house, maybe hit the gym once in a while, maybe just do some actual productive shit. It's like you said, like, I think women are still attracted to that. You know what I mean? I think most NASA engineers could probably find a wife.
Yeah, because you're an interesting person.
Yeah.
These people are not interesting people.
I never met an incel who wasn't like a gamer porn addict. You know what I mean? Or just seen them online. I don't know a lot of incels in real life, but you know what I mean?
Deal with like other issues like
yes, they have mental issues and massive autism and shit like that, but I've never seen an incel who was like,
or they don't
had a PhD or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Who'd accomplished anything of note at all.
Society has a hierarchy. It always has and it always will. Trying to pretend that it's not going to is actually how we got into a lot of trouble we've gotten to now. Society has a hierarchy. So as a person, you have to decide where you are in the hierarchy, and more importantly, where you think you belong to be. I say this to people all the time. The reason I am where I am, I was born into a normal ass, poor, single mother family. The reason I am where I am is because I genuinely believed I deserved to be where I am. So I worked my ass off. There's no luck in becoming a world champion kickboxer. There is hard work. There's no luck at all. I worked my ass off to become here because I couldn't stand the thought of not being here. So if you're depressed and you're discontent, then that's your subconscious telling you belong somewhere else. If you're happy in your life, then you're happy where you are. I was never happy. I was miserable. I can talk all about depression because I was fucking miserable. I'd see someone else in a Lambo while I was getting the bus, and I'd say, I deserve that car. I do not deserve the bus. I'm too intelligent and too physically blessed to be on this fucking bus. I knew what I deserved and I got it. So if you really belong somewhere and you really believe it, you'll get there. The problem happens when people become entitled, but they're not prepared to work for it. That's what all incels are. Why don't I have a girlfriend? Because you play video games all day and jerk off to porn and the girls won't find you interesting. Yeah, but I want a girlfriend. What have you done to earn a girlfriend? It's entitlement. It's entitlement. And that is absolutely a symptom of Western society. In other societies, there's no entitlement. In Eastern Europe and these hard countries, you grow up without a sense of entitlement because it's a hard life. When you grow up with an easy-ass life, you're entitled. And these fuckers believe they're entitled. That's all it is.
Well, women have it much easier. I mean, nobody in this that watches this is going to disagree with that. And I notice a lot of the guys are very mad about that fact that women, even an older single mother who's been divorced 5 or 6 times and is overweight can still get dick. And I notice a lot of guys get really angry about that. And they think that somehow they could change that socially. Like we could just make it so women's vaginas don't have any value to them. And but anyway, I thought that'd be something interesting for you to, I assume you agree.
Women have it easier, but I completely agree with that. And the reason for that is because traditionally before very modern medicine, women had it easier to get dick, and they also had a big punishment involved. They had to pay the price by carrying some kid around and risking their life in childbirth. So yeah, women have it easier, of course, because without modern medicine, there's a huge price to pay for that dick. Now there's no price to pay, so the men are all like, "Oh, women have it easier." But
you also have to raise the offspring, so you need to make sure that the one that you chose is the best, because you're stuck pregnant for nearly a year, and then you're stuck with that baby.
Exactly, and another thing that no one wants to talk about is that the absolute true nature of a genuine alpha male, and I'm talking about a very select percentage of guys with huge testosterone levels, is not to sit around babies. It's not. It's to get women pregnant and say, "Fuck you, this is boring."
One thing you mentioned about the violence earlier, how women soften that sharp edge. One thing I was going to say, but you were on a roll, is that right after a woman has a baby, the father, his testosterone dips significantly, in the beginning, and that's to protect the baby and the family from violence, so that if he gets woken up at 2 a.m. to screaming, he doesn't punch the baby.
Yeah, exactly right. And this is my exact point. So men are not biologically designed to be around babies. You have to look at humans from a societal standpoint and a biological standpoint, because they're actually, in many ways, completely fucking different. Society says man has baby, man likes to hold baby, man that I know some dudes more crazy than me, and I'm talking about some big Russian mafia dudes, and they have like 11, 12 kids from like 6 different women. And I'll ask him, like, well, do you like, he goes, I like my kids, I love my kids, but I can't be around a baby for more than 5 minutes. A baby is boring to me. It's a baby. The fuck's it? It's my baby. This is a baby. The fuck I do with a baby? And I completely get it. I completely get it. I'm like, what the fuck? It's a baby. What? And a lot of guys nowadays believe, oh, it's a baby, play with the baby. But if you're true to yourself, if you're a high testosterone male, you don't want to do that shit. You want to have the kid, and you love the kid, and you love the woman, and you'd kill to protect them. But you also want to go out and leave them at home because it's boring. This is the harsh reality of human nature. And you're right. This is why men's testosterone levels dip, because it's the only way they can stay in the house without losing their fucking minds.
Let me ask you this, because I'm curious what you think about this, because I started training recently and late in my life, right? I'm pushing 40 now. Mm-hmm. And after a couple years of like intense training, I wasn't making the progress that I wanted. Mm-hmm. So recently I went to the doctor and asked him if I could possibly get put on testosterone. Mm-hmm. And so he tested me and he said, your levels are within the normal range, so I'm not going to give it to you. So I guess my question is, what is the best kind of anabolic steroid for someone like me to take?
Okay, so firstly, 2 things. Firstly, the normal range is bullshit, because the normal range they've reduced year on year on year, because everyone's testosterone levels are dropping. So they've reduced the normal range along with it. So as everyone's gone down.
This is not medical advice to anyone out there.
Yeah, right.
We are not giving medical advice.
I'm in Romania. You can sue me. Sue me. Good luck. In a Romanian court. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. So they've reduced the normal range. The normal range doesn't mean shit anymore. That's the first thing. Second thing, I've never taken a steroid in my life, ever. And I swear on my father, I never, ever, once, ever. But I will say, in my experience, if you eat shitloads of raw onion, it's going to increase your testosterone level massively. Raw onion.
Do women want to be around you, though?
I don't know. They still are. Like, it's a price to pay. You know, you want to be with Big Daddy T. You know, it's got the testosterone levels.
Real quickly, why raw? Why not?
So I'll tell you how I discovered this, and then I'm gonna try and Google and see if there's any evidence to support my theory.
I've read that before about onions.
I've heard the onion thing on the hair. So we had a guy on here who was an incel, 33-year-old virgin. And I actually, after the show, he has alopecia. Long story. Let's not get into it. Okay, Tate. Wow, he's speechless. Oh my God.
He's Googling onions and testosterone.
Okay, but one of the things I was researching about a natural alopecia, where you have like chunks of your hair that doesn't grow in, is they said that raw onion, if you shred it up and you put it on your hair, now of course it smells bad, but it does something with the follicles. I think it blocks one of the hormones that it has something to do with the testosterone and like the hair hormones. But and that's just topical. So I'm sure that.
Yeah, so basically, when I was fighting, my kickboxing coach, who's Bosnian, every time we'd finish training, he'd make me eat loads of onion and garlic. And I said, why? And he said, my mother made me do it. You have to do it. It was like a folklore thing. He used to eat loads of raw onion and loads of garlic. And then, by coincidence, I was on a flight and I was watching a TV show about the Chinese Special Forces. And to pass the test for Chinese Special Forces, the last test, you spend 7 days in war, and the war gets progressively colder. And the only thing they eat during these 7 days is onion and onion soup. And they're saying it's the only food that can fight off the infection and the inevitable cold that comes with it, the inevitable sickness. And after they get out of the water, they stop eating onions, they get very, very sick. So I was thinking about onion. And then another guy I met in Morocco, I was fighting, and he was living up in the mountains. He's a very good fighter. And he had his own like traditional versions of things. So he had his own traditional version of Red Bull. So he'd get a double espresso, half a jar of peanut butter, and a banana, and he'd mash it all up and just like eat it all. And that was like his version of an energy drink. And his version of recovery was 2 raw onions. He's eating like apples. So I used to see all these crazy big dudes eating onions all the time. And then I started. And there's a massive tangible difference. I eat 3 to 4 raw onions a day. every day.
What kind of onions? Just like
Just
white, yellow, purple?
Yeah, white.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. So now at my
What
point, I
about
can say
scallions?
anything. At my point, it's red, white. At my point now, it's more of a supplement than even a food. I'll just chop it all up and I'll just quickly, drink a glass of water, bang. So I just eat shitloads of onion. And I'll just Google it up now. Right now, I don't know how to send you guys the link, but onions. How do I
Post
send
it
you
on
the link?
Twitter. We'll share it
On Twitter. Let me tweet
later.
it.
Well, you can do it later.
I'm going to send it to you on the inbox right now.
Yeah.
There you go. I've sent it to you. So it says 314% is the increase. That's what it says right here. So onion's the one.
Do you do
Onion
anything
oil.
else as far as like avoiding, like somebody mentioned plastics? Do you do anything for hormone balancing, like avoiding soy, anything like that? Or is that just, do you think a lot of that's just bullshit?
I refuse to eat. Okay, so my science is like pseudoscience. It's Tate science. I refuse to eat things that don't have power. So like, does you know if food has power? Could you fight a cow? Well, not easily. It's big. It's heavy. You know, you might get mad. It might run at you. But could you fight, like, I don't know, a fish? Well, probably. Fishes are shit. Sushi ain't got power, but steak has power. Now, I can't explain this in a way that people understand. I just know what food is going to make me powerful and what food isn't. The souls of dead animals power me, and I know which ones make me strong. So, of course, I avoid soy. Soy? The fucking soy dude. Here's an easy way to do it. Here's an easy way to do it. If you're sitting here going, what diet should I be on? Let me make it simple. Choose a food. Any food. Sushi. Let's take sushi. If you were to get 1,000 people, 1,000 random individuals that ate sushi in the last hour and put them against 1,000 random individuals who ate T-bone in the last hour, who's winning that street fight? The steak eaters, they're all liberals.
Well, the steak eaters are going to be taking a nap because they're digesting.
Steak eaters are going to be some cowboys. They're going to be coming out. They got mean hook. The sushi's like, oh, the little vegans. No, I had a little bit of sushi. The dorks. So like, if the people who eat the food ain't strong, you can't be strong. I used to eat shitloads of Jamaican food. People are like, why? I was like, you been to Jamaica? They're crazy. I want this stuff. I need to eat this. Like they'll shoot you for nothing. I need some of this.
Yeah.
But in general, yeah, I eat a lot of meat. I eat a lot of onion. I drink a lot of water, and I avoid sugar. Sugar is the real.
What about
enemy.
caffeine? How do you?
I know. I have like 10 coffees a day. I live on caffeine.
Okay. I could kind of tell.
Yeah, but sugar. No, if you want very simple diet advice, you can do anything you want if you don't eat sugar. Processed sugar is the worst. You can eat fatty fried KFC every day. That's still protein, carbs, you can burn that off. Sugar is garbage. Sugar will fuck you up worse than anything else. And it's everywhere. And people are drinking their sugar and eating all their sugar. Sugar is the one. If you cut sugar out your diet and eat everything else, you're going to be fine. That's the truth. I live with it.
Yeah, it's not just bad for like you health-wise, but even your skin. Like they've taken people that eat sugar a lot throughout their lives, and they've compared like by every metric, people who eat more sugar. It's calories are not interchangeable, and I think a lot of people think that just watching their macros is going to make a difference. But if you eat a candy bar as opposed to now, how do you feel about like fruit and such? Are you?
So yeah, I mean,
slow burn like mangoes and such.
Yeah, fruit's better because it's not processed sugar. But even then, I still don't really eat fruit, and I don't drink fruit juice. Yeah. I try and avoid sugar in general. Yeah. Sometimes I will eat sugar, but I know it's bullshit. Like when I was a professional fighter and I had like 7% body fat, I was eating KFC 3-4 times a week. I was training my ass off, so it didn't matter. Michael Phelps eats 10,000 calories a day. Like he's eating pizza, but he's not eating candy floss, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
You know, like sugar is poison. It's the worst thing the body can consume. If you avoid sodas and all sugar, you're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hold on. We're going on almost an hour here. I don't know how much time Tate has, but I have a couple of questions that hopefully we can get to. Maybe just bang these out. The first one was people were wanting to know, and I have to admit, I'm curious myself. And speaking about diets, what is the story with you and Michaela Peterson?
Story? Is there a story? I don't know.
Well, is there one? I don't know. There was somebody on Twitter posted a tweet that implied that maybe you were in some way involved with her decision to leave her husband. I don't know if you want to go into that.
I don't know what about her husband. I don't know about none of that. My story is very simple. I live in an obscure country. If anyone comes to Romania, they message me. She was in Romania. She said, hey, I'm in Romania. So I said, okay, I'll show you around a little bit. And that was that. That's all I can say. If anyone comes to Romania, they say, there's only one dude I know in Romania, and that's Tate. So that's, nice. I kind of get these kind of messages now and again. That's
so you don't endorse the carnivore diet?
I eat a lot of meat. I don't know if I go as far as her, but I mean, maybe it works for some people. I don't know. I'm definitely a meat eater, but I'm certainly not. I'm not religious about what I eat. I don't, you know, like I eat what's on the plate in front of me. Like I'm one of them dudes. I don't really give a shit. Whatever. I'm not religious about it. As for her husband, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. In fact, maybe I should shut up. I was about to say some stuff.
Yeah, maybe we should just move on to the next thing.
Yeah, I think people need to optimize their healthy eating and go with a diet that they can stick with. Like I've met people on the Principia Carnivora forums. Yeah. That's the all meat that have gone 25 years straight meat and had no issues whatsoever. Haven't even had a cold. But then there's other people who can't tolerate an all meat diet for more than a few weeks.
I'm going on a pure onion diet for the next month.
That's
good, bro. Yeah. Onion and threesomes.
So the other thing I want to ask you about, this is actually from me personally. When I first heard of you, it was one of your viral Twitter threads when you were talking about a story about a lunchbox and your father from when you were growing up. I love this story, and I thought this might be a good way for us to end the show if you could do us the honor of telling everybody that story in your own words.
Yeah, okay, so I'll tell the story. Firstly, I'm very upset that thread was deleted because I've had 9 Twitter accounts, and that was my 7th that's been banned. I'm on number 9 now, so we'll see how long I last. So it's a shame they deleted it. But the story is quite simple. I was young. I was in 3rd grade, and there was these 2 5th graders who used to pick on me. And I understand how being a kid, how being picked on can like affect you. Like it's all I thought about in class. I couldn't concentrate in school, nothing. Because every single time I was on the bus, they were behind me. They'd throw things at me. They'd pick on me. And because they were bigger than me, I was scared. So I went home and I burst out crying to my dad. And I said, I don't know what to do. These 2 kids are picking on me, etc. And my dad said, but you have a weapon. Why are you afraid of me? You have a weapon. And I said, what weapon? And he pointed and he said, your lunchbox is sharp. That's all he said. And he left the room. So I sat there and my lunchbox was a Batman lunchbox. So I kind of looked at Batman. I was like, maybe. Okay. So, and I'll tell the moral, my belief in the moral story afterwards anyway. So I'm sitting there. Anyway, about 3 or 4 days passed. The kids are picking on me as normal. And one day I'm in class and the teacher says to me, Andrew, and I've been in a daydream because I was scared about getting on the bus on the way home. And the teacher told me off for not paying attention in class. And that kind of flipped me over the edge. So I was like, oh, so now the teacher's yelling at me because I'm worried about these fuckers. And I started to like really feel like crying. You know, when you're a kid and you're holding it in. So that was at the end of school. So when I got on the bus, I was already on the edge. And when one of them started grabbing at my thing from behind, I turned around with the lunchbox and I smashed him clean in the face with his lunchbox. Smashed him in the face as hard as I could. And I remember the blood squirting on the window. I cut his whole side of his eye open with this plastic lunchbox. And as soon as I hit him, I turned and I ran off the bus because I hit him at my stop. So I smashed him in the face and just sprinted off the bus. And I ran so fast home that I didn't notice that my lunchbox had been smashed up. So when I went in the door, my dad was sitting there because my dad was a professional chess player. So he was sitting there at the chessboard. Again, he played against himself all day. These chess players live in their own mind. He's playing himself and he turns around and I'm crying now, but through anger. And he turns around and he sees my smashed lunchbox and he sees the blood on the lunchbox and he sees it smashed to pieces. And he kind of smiled and he said, get in the car. And we went to Walmart and he said, do you want the same one or another one? And I said, I'll have the same one. And he gave it to me and he said, I'll buy you as many of these as you need. That's what he said to me. I said, thanks, Dad. And we went home. And what's funny is, I don't know if that boy the next morning, I was battle ready. I was like, this is going to go down on the bus. I'd been practicing. I swear to God, I was in the mirror practicing my swings with this fucking lunchbox. I was training for this bus ride. And when I got on the bus, I don't know if the kid got transferred schools. I don't know what happened, but obviously he needed stitches, so I cut him up. I never saw that child again.
I don't know what he said to his parents when he got home. I never saw that kid again. I never heard about it, never got in trouble from the principal, nothing ever. It never, ever happened again. And that was the end of the story. Me and my dad never discussed it. That was the whole story from start to finish. And it's a pretty simple story, really. And my dad made something very clear to me from the beginning. No one's here to save you. Nobody, not me, not dad, not the teacher. In the harsh reality of the human world, nobody, not the police, it's you and them. The police might come afterwards, but you might already be dead. So it's you and them. And I learned that lesson early on. And from then on out, I didn't take shit from nobody. I had a lunchbox. I was ready. I was ready from there. And I think that was a fantastic way to learn my lesson. And obviously that's transcribed to my entire life. I've never taken shit from nobody. And that's the best way to be. I'm not a bully. I don't pick on nobody. But if you're going to start fucking with me, that's how it is. So that's basically the story. That's the story from start to finish. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that story. I think we can wrap up the show here. I know it's late and we've gone over a little bit overtime, but that was such a great show. I hope we can have you on again sometime. I think there's a lot more to say. You seem to have a lot to say, so we're gonna have to have you back on at some point. Did you want to like do some plugs or tell people what you got going on?
Yeah. Firstly, I'd love to come back on. It's been a lot of fun. I hope I didn't talk too much. That's my usual.
We liked it.
Criticism.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Thank you. I'll do a quick plug. CobraTate.com is where I teach lots of different things. The most important things on my website are, one, I teach a lot about how to make money because it's the question I get all the time. So I teach people how to make money online with Forex and a few other things. And then secondly, I have the War Room, and the War Room is kind of like my private community, which is completely merit-based because lots of communities nowadays aren't merit-based. So I liked the idea of putting something together where you pay to join, but that does not guarantee your membership. You have to earn it because that's how life works. If you want to be somebody, you have to earn it. And there's tests and there's milestones, and you have to meet them. You have to match them. So you're forced to level up. And we have like 500 guys in there. And there's been a few guys whose lives have completely changed just by having some guidance, just by having some brotherhood, just by having some people around them, encouraging them. Everything from losing weight to changing country to starting their own business. There's people whose lives have completely transformed just by having some people around them saying, yeah, get the fuck up, let's go. So that's what the War Room is. And if you have any questions, you can go to CobraTake.com at any time. There's a live chat function, and you can message me directly on my phone anytime if you want to know anything. So that's all that.
Right on. Here, somebody asked in the chat if I've ever been picked on. I actually do have one good. I think I think bullies help you build character and grow as a person. I'll tell this story really quick. When I was in high school, like in grade 9, when I first started going to high school, I used to walk from my house and I'd go through the smoker pit where all the sort of like skids would hang out. And there was this one, I was like scrawny, skinny, like kind of dorky kid. There was this one like fat kid who would hang out there and smoke. And he'd always had some kind of, hey, four eyes, hey, freak, hey, dork, every time I walked by, or just, hey, loser, every time. And fucking one day I just had enough. And this day we were like inside the school. He's just inside the doors. And he says this thing and I stop, I go and I grab him by the like collar. And I just start screaming, you want to go? You want to fucking go? And he freezes like a deer in the headlights, right? He's like, what the hell is this? And his friend is sitting there, like standing next to him, like, come on, dude, he's calling you out or whatever. I snapped. I didn't care if I got suspended. I was going to fight this kid right in the hallway. But he just like froze. And after about like 5 seconds, I was like, what am I doing? So I let him go and I walked away. That kid never spoke to me again. Yep. He was always there. He just looked down for the rest of the year every time I walked by that kid.
And this is the thing. Bullies are always going to exist. They're always going to exist. And you have two choices. You either become anti-fragile, you either snap like I did and like you did, and you learn something from it, or you become or you cry to teacher, and then you end up a liberal. And you spend the rest of your life crying to fucking reporting people on Twitter. And that's what happens. Yep. Like you either become a somebody or you don't.
Exactly. You have to bully proof your kid. You have to teach them how to deal with life.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because life's full of bullies. They're not going anywhere. They're not going away. In some form or another, someone's always going to be picking on you some way or another. If you're going to join the I'm offended, I'm oppressed, let me report everyone on Twitter, you're going to be a very miserable person. Like this, you have to build this. This ties into the theme perfectly of mental rigidity. It ties in perfectly. It's absolutely true.
All right, everybody, that's the show for today. That was a great show. Big thanks to our guest, Andrew Tate, CobraTate.com. Thanks to everybody for watching. I don't think we're going to be doing a show this Tuesday, so we'll probably be back next Tuesday. So we'll see y'all then. Oh, I'm going to be putting up Can't Stop Progress on the backup channel later today once I get it made. So that's coming out later today, Can't Stop Progress. Thanks for watching, everybody. Catch y'all on the flip side, and peace out.